This is to the inaugural episode. I don't know if we should be toasting water, but let's pretend that it's Cinco de Mayo and this
Cinco
is
de Mayo.
tequila and it's two Philly boys about to blow up Tampa with a podcast. Congratulations. There's nothing trash about this.
Trash and cash, trash and cash. Trash and cash, trash and cash. Is the idea trash or is cash? Let us know. Yes, maybe so, or for sure. It's a no. Should we stop while we ahead and turn around or it's a go? Trash or is cash? Go on ahead, submit your vote. Hey yo, check dig, you're now tuned in to Trash or Cash Podcast. The show where the hosts will present a new idea and debate whether it's trash or cash. But the final decision is solely up to you, the audience.
Trash or Cash Podcast is a show for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. And the idea is simple. It's a couple of entrepreneurs like us right here getting together and pitching each other ideas we think might be successful at some point. It has the potential to become a successful business. But ideas are one thing. Everybody got ideas, like opinions. What do they say about
Absolutely,
opinions?
yeah.
Everybody got one, let's say. Reality is a whole nother thing. So we're gonna suss out these wild ideas, put one up, see where it goes, and then try to figure out if the idea is cash idea, meaning it's gonna make some money, or if it's something that should just go to the trash. So that's the whole idea about this. Is it trash or is it cash? Who knows, right? But one of these ideas might be the next unicorn idea. So
Maybe.
With that, today, my guest is Jerome Smalls. And most especially, I want to point out that we are both from Philly and we're now in Tampa. And just for that alone,
Just for that alone, man.
it's a two-man gang just started out. So if you're from Philly and you're watching this and you're in Tampa, then maybe you want to join us at some point. Can get this gang going.
Yeah, the Broad Street Bully.
Yeah. And we're both from North Philly. You gotta say it the right way.
Yeah.
He was 15th and Allegheny type area. I was 5th and Susquehanna, if you know that. And they're both North Philly. We got plenty of stories we were talking about before. This probably had nothing to do with business. Just, I guess, rambunctious kid stuff, right?
No. Hey, look, we were just talking about, jumping off mattresses, and we didn't have trampolines growing up. So we were playing on mattresses in the back alley.
Flipping on mattresses. And you know what's crazy? I don't know if you've ever seen it, but at one point they actually, on Fifth Street, put a big trapeze, like an official trapeze. They put it out in the middle of this big vacant lot in Northern Liberties, and you could pay like $60 to go learn how to do flips. And we were doing it for free with rusty ass mattresses. So it's kind of like, this is the world we live in now. But here's what you should know about Jerome. Jerome has a business around soccer, and the crazy thing is his business is about soccer, but like you never even played when you was a kid, right? Like that wasn't even
No, man. Like never played soccer at all growing up. I mean, again, growing up in North Philly, you don't play soccer, man. It's football, basketball.
Yeah,
we don't do soccer.
You kick things around, but normally it's a bottle, a can, somebody's ass. I mean, like there's no soccer. It's not football.
No, not at all.
What's the name of the business again? Soccer Gems, yeah?
Yeah, so Soccer Gyms, we are a youth soccer program here in Tampa where we really just kind of cater to that 18-month to 8-year-old range where we teach the basic fundamental
18
soccer.
months?
18 months, man. We get them in as soon as
They're
they
not
start
even
walking.
the size of the soccer ball. How's that?
I know. As soon as they start walking, man, it's a mommy and daddy and me class. So
gotcha.
we're one of the only ones that's doing that here. We teach so much more than, just the soccer. We have them working on their colors, their letters. So we incorporate it all. I'm a former special education teacher too.
Gotcha.
So I try to incorporate the learning aspect along with the kind of the soccer skill aspect of it. And we're franchising now, so I'm really excited about that, man, to see where that's going to go.
You're looking for partners for the franchise, yeah?
Yeah, we should be officially ready to offer franchises by June. Kind of done all the paperwork and all of that stuff, so we'll be ready to rock and roll. So anyone out there that's looking for a franchise, we'll be offering those very soon.
So what was just out of curiosity, what was the light bulb moment where you were like, I'm gonna take my teaching and put it into this soccer thing, the peanut butter and chocolate that turned into the Reese's peanut butter cup that you have right now? Like, what was there a point in time where it's just like aha, or like it was just like you kept playing with the idea until tested it out in different sports? Maybe it was something else first. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we always started with soccer. That's all we've ever done. It really started, my daughter, again, when she was young, and she got into, my wife, they grew up playing soccer. And my daughter got into playing soccer at a really young age. So we just wanted to, I know that I didn't want to teach any longer. Wanted to have my own business. That's kind of what I went back to school for my master's in entrepreneurship. And it was just time for me to say, like, looking at her, we could certainly create a program where we're teaching soccer and the kind of educational component behind it.
Got it. So that was kind of the missing link for me. Like, you went to school and got a master's in entrepreneurship. So you were ready for something. You were just looking for the right wrapper for it. And the kids, it's crazy how kids can get you interested in something you could you don't even give a crap about in your life. But it's like, now you see it through their eyes and you're like, how can we make money with that? And then it just turns into this thing.
Right. And it just kind of snowballed from there, man. I mean, it was a lot of work, but again, we've been doing it for the last 11 years. So it just kind of snowballed from there.
So there's like 3 questions I like to ask everybody. We do know each other a little bit, but like, it's kind of to get, not just me, but anybody listening to this, kind of get a sense of who you are as a person, like what you really care about and where you're headed in life. So you ready for these 3 questions?
Yeah, let's fire.
What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of being the man that I've become from where I've come from. So again, like you said, growing up, man, in a single mom household in North Philly, being the first one from my family to go to college, play basketball in college and graduate, be able to move away from a city that I love, but I moved down here with no job, no money, no relatives, like I knew no one down here. So to be here about 16, 17 years later and to be able to establish that, I made a commitment to myself that once I moved down here, I was never moving back to Philly. I love it, but I said I would never moving back.
When's the last time you kind of went for a visit?
Well, now my daughter, she does a lot of traveling soccer, so she has tournaments up there in Jersey. So I was just up there probably last year, and I usually go back for their conference usually once a year.
You made me sad. I said Philly, you threw Jersey in there. It's like,
I know,
man.
But see, we go up there for her to play soccer in Jersey, and then we drive across the bridge, and then we get to hang out in Philly.
It's right there. It's right there. Yeah. All right. So right now, what are you most excited about in your life?
I'm most excited about the franchising. I'm most excited because, and here's why. So again, when I started the business, I didn't have anyone sit me down and say, okay, here's the blueprint. Here's how we're going to do this. Here's how you market. Here's how any of that. So I'm most excited about helping other entrepreneurs get started without having to start from scratch. And that's really what I'm passionate about because I know how scary it was to start a business. I know how scary it was and kind of unsure in those nights where you're like, So I'm really excited about helping other individuals start their business and just getting them going without having to do it from scratch.
Franchise wise, like if you in your head, like who would you model, like say your model is, like if you say I like that model, like, or that culture, or is there anything that stands out in your head?
Yeah, there's a few. I won't give out any free advertising.
No. Yeah, you don't gotta give out free game like that.
Hey, look, Philly boy, you ain't getting nothing for free, man. You're not getting nothing for free. But no, there's obviously several franchises out there that we look at and we say, man, they're doing it right from their training and the culture and just kind of the way they market it. There's a few, and some of it is not even in sports or children related. I mean, it might be in automotive and just kind of how their culture is.
Yeah, I get it. It's like, it's a DJ. It's all out there. It's how you remix it and put it together to make your unique sound or your unique business. So that's my analogy because that's kind of how I look at everything. It's already there. The pieces are there. It's just kind of like how you put them together.
Right.
All right, last big get to know you question. What's your vision for the future?
Man, it's so crazy, and I'm probably going to lead you into another question or another topic. But it's so crazy because, man, when we think about the vision for the future, like with AI, can you just think about first of all, growing up, man, we didn't even have cell phones.
Your AI was the boy down the block, the old head that's like, yo, what do you know about? What do you know about this? So answer your question.
So like, it's just mind blowing that we can have AI now do a lot of things for us that we used to have to do manually. So, vision for the future, again, franchising, but entrepreneurship is in me, man. Like I said, I want to start other businesses out there and get some more things going. So
in this field, or just
not necessarily, not necessarily in this field. It could be in other fields, but I certainly know that business is something that I enjoy, and just kind of being able to start something from scratch or help someone else build theirs as well.
Got it. But this baby's got to survive and thrive first before you start messing around with these other things, because we all get that shiny object syndrome. I think we all are. And there's books and plenty. There's podcast books, audio books. There's everybody that's trying to keep us on track. But you know what? It's fun.
Yeah.
The AI is up in here, and it's like, what can I do with that? It's better than any movie or any book you can read. The possibilities. That's what this whole thing is about. It's like about possibilities and playing with them, because for me, right? Like, I watch a lot of things, I listen to a lot of things, I absorb a lot of things, but I also know, like, so what if you ain't gonna do nothing with it? Right. So at some point, you just got to kind of roll the dice and say, that one there, that one, we were discussing that before. It's like the zombie idea, right? The one that keeps coming back to haunt you, and you're like, oh man, I should really do that. And then like a year later, oh man, that thing again. Oh, that guy's, and then one day it's like, oh, he took my idea. It's like, well, you should have did something, right?
No, absolutely, man. Listen, I kind of like with ideas, right? Like ideas are, a lot of entrepreneurs put the emphasis and kind of like they bottle up the idea. And I kind of look at ideas as like they're worthless. Execution is priceless. So you have a lot of people that have ideas. Someone in Phoenix has the same idea. It's all a matter about who's going to execute that idea first. Because the idea, again, as humans, like you're not the only one. Tesla isn't the only electronic car out there. It's about execution.
Yeah, and that's why I wasn't afraid to like some of the stuff we're going to share, the ideas in my head, because if I'm never really going to do it, but I think it would be cool, then why not hey, you do it and call me in and throw me like a little dap, or right. If you want to give me a little cut, even better. But like, I don't have time to do it. Why be selfish, right? It's like you said, there are a million places, but you ain't gonna do nothing with it. You're not gonna participate. Then let it go. Let it be. Let it live, right? So, again, I wish one day that in the future, 10 years, somebody said it. I saw you talking on this thing and you said this idea, and you know what? I was like, man, I'm gonna do that. And then 10 years later, they're like, yo, I took that idea from you. Because I've heard that in return from other people, and I was like, that's kind of cool. I wish I got something from it. But like, even just the fact that you did it, props, period. Like, props, period.
Well, well, here's kind of a funny story, because you say that, right? Like, you have an idea. I remember I moved down here and I'm giving my age away or whatever, but probably in 2005. I moved down here in 2005. And I remember working and having the idea of streaming, right? And like the idea that I had was you can't make it, grandma can't make it to their the grandchild's graduation or the wedding. So instead, you just have a camera there and they can watch the wedding, watch the graduation, or whatever the case may be, right? And this was, again, and now that's
Zoom, Facebook Live.
Yeah, that's
like everywhere.
You know what I mean?
They actually got glasses now. They made that like it's like a rewind. If for the last minute, we'll just be playing constantly. If you miss something, you could keep it because you're like, oh shit. Yeah, that's crazy. But you know what? I'm glad somebody did it, because real talk, when my grandmom died, I got to Skype in my family from France and Florida and all these other places from the hospital, so that they could be with her at the end. So it's great that somebody did it, because that was possible for my family. Right. So like, again, and think of it this way, you didn't do it, somebody did it, but look at what what I just shared with you, like how important it has been to people's lives. So we should not keep these things like a dragon guarding its gold. We should just be like, because again, who's going to do something with it? So we're going to get to this next part. I'm going to go first. I'm going to pitch you an idea. You kind of warmed it up with that. So I'm going to pitch you an idea that I might have had over time. Sometimes these are this stuff that comes from my business. So, I know we talked about this before, but my business is called Trash Meter. It's Uber for trash.
Yep.
And the vision for it is going to be, a game of picking up litter across the earth where kids, homeless people, the unbanked could receive for cleaning up, doing trash-related services, e-waste, recycling, all these things. Trash tokens, and they would be able to use this for goods and services on our back offices, or how you want to call it, like a Shopify store or something like that. But eventually they'd be able to cash this stuff out. But as you know, the problem with like homeless people and kids and unbanked is they don't have a bank account, or they're not old enough to get a bank account, or they live off their phone. So this was a mechanism in my head to turn trash into treasure, right? So that was my big idea. That's what I work on, and all the ways that could be possible, because to most people, trash is not worth it. They don't think about it. They don't want to think about it, and they think it's worthless. But I look at it like if it was oil back in the 1800s, when you stepped in a puddle of oil in your yard, you're like, oh no, my farm is ruined. This is terrible. And now it's black gold, right? So I look at it like, for me, trash is the next oil. You just got to figure out what to do with it, right?
Absolutely.
So that's my process. But I got tons of other ideas like you, and we just kind of live in a world full of entrepreneurs. So it's like, might have been somebody I took from somebody else, or it's like, what do you think? Or it might have been mine, or it might have been, anywhere. But I'm going to share something that I thought, and we're going to go, and you're just going to listen to it, maybe write a note, and then you're going to tell me if you think it's a trash idea or a cash idea.
Right.
Allow me to share. I got some things written down here, so I'm trying to think about. I'm gonna look it through these. This is a funny one. As you can see, I surround myself with cartoons and things, and we got Roscoe over here.
Right.
So a long time ago, I was at this party, right? So the idea is called Party Animal. So
Animal.
So just think of Party Animal, and you're kind of looking at one right now, right? So think of this. I was at this family function, and it was kind of not boring, but it's kids, it's older people, and you're like in the middle, and you're like, I feel like watching this TV, right? So I don't know what it was. It was a stuffed animal, right? And it had and then it was like a troll mask, because there was kids in there. So I took this little stuffed animal, and I put this little troll mask on it, and I started taking pictures with him doing like naughty stuff, right? So I took a picture with him. He was on the internet looking at boobs. I took a picture, and he was humping the dog. He was drinking. He was I took 20 pictures of him just doing stuff, pretend throwing up somewhere, stealing stuff, just doing bad stuff, right? All through the party, but nobody knew what I was doing. And then at the end of the party, I was just giggling because it was just making me laugh. He was on an exercise bike. He was I was telling the story, and it was just on the camera, right? And I was like, yo, I started showing these people these pictures, and they're like, what the hell? What is this, right?
Right.
And I was like, that's Party Animal. And it gave me the idea, being goofy gave me the idea. And I was like, what if there was this is for a bachelor service, right?
Okay.
So you know how when you go to bachelor party and they say goes in Vegas, stays in Vegas, you can't take any pictures, and we don't want no evidence, and all the silly stuff you do, right? What if, right, you had this Party Animal character that he took the heat for everything you did. He takes you on the bus, and all the pictures that get taken, it's him doing the stuff. He's motorboating. He's doing the shots. He's getting crazy.
He's your fall guy.
He stole the car. He got the tiger with Mike Tyson. All the stuff you ever imagined that you wanted to do in a bachelor party, or you were careful because don't bring your phones. So now you have this this company based around taking the blame for the event, and then if any pictures came out, because you're really not allowed to share pictures, he's the only one in the pictures.
Right.
I mean, maybe blurred out or whatever, but y'all shared the experience, and so whoever was going to do the thing, the Party Animal is his proxy, right? And he goes and does this stuff, and I was just like, man, that would be a dope idea. You get a bus, you go to Vegas, and you just take this thing to the club and start taking pictures. I mean, today it'd be viral like that. I was like, first of all, overall as a concept, if you heard that and you knew it was available to you and you were still a bachelor, would you be like, yo, that's kind of dope. I want to do that. And even, maybe even to see the pictures with the concept of it. What do you think of that?
Yeah. No, I think that's hilarious, man. That's truly hilarious because everybody wants the wingman, right? You got to have a wingman and you have a fall guy. And
He's the ultimate wingman. That's the tagline. The ultimate wingman. He takes all the hits.
Right.
Babe, it wasn't me. It was Party Animal. What you talking about? That ain't even me in the picture. I was over here.
Right. Like, blame it on him. So, yeah.
Maybe he shows up at your wedding, too.
Crash the wedding.
Starts a fight. Yeah. That's extra. That's an extra service.
That's an extra fee.
add-on. Yeah. Come break up my wedding, bro. But would you, is that in, like, looking at that, right? Like, overall, as a business, that's the package. That's the pretty packaging. You as an entrepreneur, could you see that working and actually turning into a real business?
So yeah, I think in my opinion of it, you'd be able to turn it into.
Forgot this, right? So the important thing now is for you, is it a trash idea or is it a cash idea? And then we can go into that. Like, tell me why.
Okay. So
you gotta hold up the paddle. You gotta tell me, and then reveal. I know this is the first one, people. So we're filling this out, but he's going to give the reveal, and then he's going to show you what he picked, and then tell us why. There you go.
Yeah. All right. So I would say it is a cash idea, but here's why. Not just I think you would be able to utilize that in so many different areas, right? Not just partying, not just breaking it up, but hey, look, like you said, I want to break up with my fiance or my girlfriend. You know what I mean? It's not working, so I'm sending in, you know what I mean, the party guy to do it. Hey, listen, I got to break the news to my baby mama that I got a new baby mama that I'm not the daddy. You know what I mean? So we send in the party guy. You got to be able to send him in to do different things, man. You know, he's got to be, like you said, the ultimate fall guy. So.
Yeah, I mean, it could. That's funny because it could even be like, you know how they send the gorilla to go sing Happy Birthday or something like that. He could just be like, send in Party Animal, go send a message. I'm out.
Yeah, right.
Party Animal moved all your stuff to the curb. Like, he's just like, Party Animal just doing all this damage, and like, who's really Party Animal? So that, I mean, not for nothing, but if anybody out there likes that idea, hit me up, because I did make somewhat of a business plan, and it was levels to it. It was like the VIP, like the budget experience, the VIP experience.
Right.
Like, it was levels to this, but that, like, I mean, look, that's like a whole Hallmark business right there. Yeah, just all the events of your life.
There you go,
bro. Imagine him at your funeral. He's crying for you. Like,
exactly.
He's out there. Right. He's like at the funeral crying. You're like $300. He's gonna scream and do like
he's gonna give you whole theatrics,
He's gonna get Haitian out here. He's gonna start screaming and singing and he's gonna go crazy like that. That would be fun.
The whole theatrics.
Oh man, like I would want to see that in the world. If somebody did that idea, I would be happy. I'd probably hire him. I'd be like, look, my renewal of vows when I need my best man, the night before, he's the one with me going out, and then we at the wedding, and maybe he can even marry people. That would be dope.
Ooh, that'd be
like
sick.
Elvis. He's
oh
my God! Look at what we started. All right, so that. Oh my God! All right, so that was it. It was a cash idea. Good. I'm glad that one, because that one was a lot of fun. Like, I just could see that being a real thing in the world.
Just making it fun, yeah.
Yeah, all right, so it's your turn, and I didn't mean to, like, hopefully outshine you on how dope my idea was, but you did mention that when you did have other businesses in mind, like you were, like, if this franchise goes sweet, you get to that level, you're like, we got 60 of these bad boys out there, I'm ready for the next thing. So what might that be?
Yeah, so even now with soccer gyms and the business that I have started another business. So we also run a business called Play 365 Sports, right? I'm gonna give you the concept of Play 365 Sports. So it is a family sports league. So where we're getting kids and parents to play together. So can you imagine, again, I played basketball growing up in college and love it. My daughter plays in any sport. So it's getting families to not just send little Johnny out on the field to, play by yourself, but we're actually having it where mom and dad is on the field or on the court with the son or daughter, and they're playing together. So basketball, we've got 3-on-3 basketball where, but you can't come out there now. You can't come out there and go Kobe. We got restrictions. You know what I mean? It's all for the kids, so it's making it fun. You can't try to relive, your glory days, you know what I mean? And like throw somebody's shot up into the, fifth row of the stands. So just making it fun for them where parents and the kids get to play together.
All right, so here's my vote on that, and I'm gonna tell you why I like it. So it is a cash idea. It's actually touching upon something that I wanted to do within mine, but I'm not gonna divert to that. But the idea of the parents and the kids kind of being intermixed, right? So first of all, you should allow after the game a dad show off part where they can go ham on each other just for the fun of it,
right?
For the bragging rights. And this 365 Sports is an opportunity for a sports league that you probably are not thinking about, but people are into the fantasy football kind of sports, right?
Right.
So dads, like to bet on their kids. Oh, my kid's going to do this and that. But as a team, right, like you can kind of bet on an outcome and then like side bet it, like for fun. It could be for little Chuck E. Cheese tokens or bragging rights or whatever. But I think the important thing about something like this is the community aspect. So you already have the teams and the kids and the dads kind of teaming up.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. Mom and dads.
Okay.
Mom and dads.
But there should be a mechanism for the community that includes a little bit of playful smack talk.
Right.
Like just because we like to play, but like we can't say certain things in front of the kids. So there should be like this little thing on the side. And I don't know what that looks like because we kind of live in a world where people get a little butthurt about certain things. But I think with the right mix of things, that could blow it up because of the community aspect. And if like I said, we're betting on ourselves and our kids. So if there's like let's say if there's like this thing, right? There's a mom's points and a dad's points and a kid's points, and they can kind of like a team score, and then there's like an individual score. So it's kind of like you do get to compete, but you also you got to do the community thing. So like, what do you think about like that?
Yeah, no, I love it. And that's the whole thing, right? Like having that community involvement. And, listen, the way we do it where the parents can still kind of, get their rocks off and play a little bit and have fun and go after one another. As long as, we make sure that it doesn't get too out of control.
My other thing is this, right? So I've noticed that kickball is actually starting to get leagues now, and that's starting to get the families together. My thing was dodgeball when I was little. I don't know about you. Mm-hmm. So if there's a dodgeball or a kickball league, that's something I would do because it's like, maybe you're as a parent, you're like, man, I wasn't really like, into the organized sports. I was more like a solo artist and all that. But like that's fun for anybody because like there's no Kobe in like kickball. It's like you just hit it and it goes, right? Like it's a minimal amount of
athleticism.
But like it's not based on like, hey, you're fit, like you're fit dad, so you're gonna spank it right now. Big dude will come in and knock that thing out the park just as well as soccer dude, right? Like so, like stuff like that, those little alternative sort of sports. I think that would be super fun because you can make your own leagues around just that. And again, back to the whole like fantasy football, like you can kind of like make up teams, and even like what'll be funny is if like states go up against each other. So it's like a 365 sports, like Barstool Sports or whatever.
Yeah.
The Philly versus the Tampa squad. It's like pick your best, come up and like compete, and it would just be like fun competition. And I can see people sponsoring that because family fun. I'm all about that's kind of my thing with my brand.
Like that,
family and fun. I'm all about that, right? So I like it. I think it's good.
Cool.
All right, so it seems like we got 2 cash ideas today. So before I guess we wrap this up, you got any like books, podcasts, kind of resources like as an entrepreneur, like that one did it for me? It could be like I said, a book, podcast, audio.
Yeah. So one book that I always recommend, and someone gave it to me a few years ago, is The E-Myth. So The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. It's a book, man, that for me, I feel like it should be
the Bible.
It's
up there.
It really is up there because it gets you to think about all the things that I think as an entrepreneur you don't think about. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, you're like, oh, I just love, I want to make the world a better place by cleaning up, trash. But then you don't think about, okay, well, what type of vehicles are you going to need to haul off all the trash, and what type of licenses or
all the things,
all those other things that you don't think about. You just think about doing the good service, and knowing that you want to turn it into a business. So I think the E-Myth, man, it lays that out for someone to follow and get them to think about that, but then also it gets them to think about how they can not have to do it themselves. Because again, I think that's like an E-myth, pun intended, right? Where as an entrepreneur, we sometimes tend to think that I have to do it. When you have that mindset, I think you're actually creating a job versus a business. So the E-myth, it gets you to think about putting all of that's in your head down on paper, so that way you can hand it off to someone else and those steps are still followed the way, same as if you were to do it.
So I read the book, I dig it. My takeaways from it that I think stuck with me forever is, first of all, it helps you identify who you are and what role you should be playing, like what kind of person are you. You're an operator, a mechanic, or you're like the entrepreneur. I think it's like 4 different mindsets, right? And then the other thing too is, and this is the mantra, if you want to call this the Bible verse, it's like, stop working. You got to stop working in your business and start working on your business. So if you're like too much doing the things and you're like frustrated and burnt out, it's because you're working in your business instead of on your business, and that's why you don't grow. So that, am I working in or on? That is the key kind of
absolutely.
That switch you got to flip in your head. That, if you're going to take something away, like that's the thing you take away. So for me, if I was to give anybody one, I think I really like this book. You can check it out, called Disrupt You. Right?
Disrupt You.
And it's by this guy, J. Allen Samet. He actually met him, talked to him, actually interviewed him. He's a big mind, but he's the big mind behind like a lot of the music and how that kind of graduated into streaming and all that kind of stuff. But the Disrupt You book is about taking you, and a little bit of E-myth stuff in there, but taking your ideas and turning them into something, and how we go from like thinking to doing and reinventing ourselves and actually disrupting outside of like where we are. Like that's what it needs, a disruption of something, because this is the path you're on, but if you stay in that rut, where are you gonna go?
Right.
So I really dig that book. He's wrote a few books, but Disrupt You is one of my favorites by him.
Now is it like YOU or like university?
No, it's YOU.
YOU.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could probably check that out on Amazon or something real quick. I just want to, I got to show you around a little bit, and I wanted to like kind of give props to the building that we're in, right?
Yeah,
so
it's amazing.
Around us we got, we're in a podcast studio. There's offices. There's, all kind of stuff going on. And, Hot Mama's walking in. If you can see the other side of the camera. But this is called the Real Freedom Collab. And what it is a bunch of entrepreneurs in the real estate space, crypto, tech, me. And we all kind of got together and we're like, we should do our own thing, but like kind of working together as a collaborative. That's why it's called the collab. So if anybody out there listening to this wants to know more, and you're in Tampa and you want to know about the collab and getting membership and kind of, having access to all these things, then, if you check out soon, trashercadspodcast.com, or you go to Real Freedom Club and check out some of the stuff about the space. That's just for anybody listening. You want to check that out later and kind of get to know us. And then for me, if you want to get in contact with me, it's like you can look up The Dad Next Door on Instagram, Facebook, all the things. Or my business, Trash Mitter, same thing. And I'm easy to find. What about you? Like, how do they get in contact? Soccer Gems, right? Soccergems.com?
Yeah, well, first let me ask you, so was the Hot Dad Next Door taken?
The Hot Dad Next Door? No, but if I call myself that, I'm sure somebody, I'm sure I'd be opening the door for all sorts of drama. And, my wife would be like, yeah, who told you that? So, whatever. But actually, the idea was, it was the millionaire next door. The idea was like the millionaire next door. You never know who lives next to you. That could be real low key, but it's like, I always wanted to like the person next door to me, like get to know them, like what's in your head. So that's where it came from. It was kind of more about all of us as dads. And I dig that shirt. I need you to let me get one of those. Like, you know what I mean? Let me know. What about you? How can they get in touch with you in the socials and your business with the Soccer Gems? Yeah. What if they want to get into franchise? Tell them.
Yeah. So absolutely. So our website is, again, Soccer Gems. That's GEMZ.com. We're obviously on Facebook or Instagram as well. As I said, in regards to franchising, we have our franchising landing page where You can contact us. We can give you more information, kind of really break down. The thing about franchising that I think sometimes we misunderstand and kind of misinterpret is that we got to find someone that fit our culture, our values, just as much as we would fit their personal and professional culture and values, right? So just because you hand over a check or you have an extra 50, 75K laying around, doesn't mean that you're necessarily the right fit for us and what we're looking for. So those are the things that we'll take the time to kind of get to know you and kind of find out what exactly you're looking to accomplish in becoming a franchise with us.
Yeah, there's a process.
Yeah. So, but you can find us on any of that. Again, soccergems.com, Instagram, Facebook, as well. LinkedIn.
Not OnlyFans though, don't mess around.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it for us. Like, I hope you guys dig Jerome's Two Philly Cast, the premiere episode. Know how to get with either one of us. And if you want to hear more Trash or Cash talk, or maybe even pitches one of your ideas, make sure you subscribe to the pod on Spotify and YouTube. Connect with us at trashorcashpodcast.com. And if you're in Tampa, and you're always welcome to come and get trashy with us at any one of our events, or even on the podcast if you're interested in, it's all good. And that's a wrap. All right, so catchphrase. So do you remember Soul Train?
Yes.
What Don Cornelius used to say? It was like peace, love, and
soul. There you go.
So I'm gonna make
Peace,
this one.
peace, love, and
Peace,
soul.
trash, and cash. And we out.
Don Cornelius.
Well, that concludes this episode of Trash or Cash. Make sure you follow on all socials at Trashmitter. That's TrashMitter. And keep up with all episodes at trashorcashpodcast.com.